Tonight, reports that the Justice Department's investigation into the tax affairs of President Biden's son, Hunter, is intensifying.
Multiple sources tell CBS News that the federal investigation into Hunter Biden's business practices is broader than previously known.
This is very, very bad for the president's son.
We know the FBI has possession of it and that they believe it is his laptop, that the contents of it are his.
Man, than previously known? It's a miracle. That's weird because I knew about it 2 years ago. Joining me now, Congressman Darrell Issa from California. Congressman, first and foremost, you have taken some steps with this laptop recently. What'd you do?
Well, what we've done is we've sent out preservation orders to many of the people that were clearly part of the cover-up. Those who clearly lied by saying that it was Russian misinformation, which includes some of the most highly cleared intelligence people in the country. And even Hunter Biden has received a preservation order. Do we believe that they won't use bleach bit and try to destroy things? Well, if they do, that's obstruction of Congress once they've been warned.
Well, I'm glad you actually brought that up, Congressman, because that was going to be my next question. You're going to have to forgive me if I don't exactly trust the FBI to handle this thing, especially when they're kicking down doors of Project Veritas journalists, going after parents worried about CRT. I am greatly concerned, and I know many people on the right are, about a weaponized FBI. What can we do about that?
That is a vexing problem. You know, Jim Jordan and Trey Gowdy and Jason Chaffetz and myself and others, we've been going after impropriety, if you will, of the FBI since the early Obama administration, and so far with very little results. Even during the 4 years of the Trump administration under 2 attorney generals, we were not able to get any satisfaction that they were draining that part of the swamp. So when we retake the majority, will it be an effort of Chairman Jordan? Absolutely. We have to make real changes in the Department of Justice, including the FBI, including the ATF, because they have become partisan and they've become a certain type of parochial that seems to evade even Republican attorney generals.
Which is, honestly, that's been my frustration as well. You just brought up even under Trump's presidency, nothing was done. So what can we do? The president clearly doesn't have the authority to say fired, 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 or does he? Does Congress? Are we talking about defunding them? Specifically, what can we do?
Well, first of all, the president is not just the commander-in-chief of the military, but he is the constitutional officer from which every bit of authority of the FBI flows. So, yes, we can ask a president to do a lot more. But in the meantime, looking into and demanding that the funding match compliance with the law. And I'll just give you one that we're not talking about today, but we're talking about it every day. The misuse of FISA, which we did see during the Trump administration, there's been no consequences. The fact is, we're going to have another reauthorization of FISA, and if Jim Jordan and myself and others have our way, there will be no reauthorization of FISA as we know it. It will have to be looked at for what part of it have they complied with, because the parts they haven't complied with, including having actual truthful facts, and if you lie to a judge to get a warrant, you should go to jail, not just your investigation continues and continues. Those kinds of changes we can do. There are authority, and with reauthorization coming up, we intend to do it.
Good. I like it. All right. Well, obviously, along the same lines, it's not just the FBI, DOJ, as you already mentioned, Central Intelligence Agency. I mean, people were talking about all these former CIA chiefs signing on to a blatant lie that the Hunter Biden laptop thing was Russian disinformation. We have this idiot John Cipher, former CIA agent. He's out there bragging that he lied and potentially cost Donald Trump the presidency. What can we do to rein in the largest spy agency in the world if it's a Democrat political arm?
Well, the first thing we have to do is we have to do what Trump started to do early in his administration, and that is, if you want to keep your security clearance after you leave the administration, you've got to play by some very stringent rules, and one of them is not the political activity we saw with no accountability. The other one, and the bigger one, is, look, the CIA has a very, very narrow portion of Congress that gets to do oversight. I served on the Select Intelligence Committee, and we were a room of a half a dozen people most of the time hearing things that nobody else heard. Congress has to take a broader interest in the details of it, and I intend on making sure we do that. We don't need to know the specific of operations, but we do need to know the accountability that isn't there at the CIA and hasn't been in a long time. But that first part, actually stripping people like Clapper and Brennan of their clearances when they become nothing but political hacks, that's important, that they have to be able to say, well, I no longer have access to this information when they place these kind of opinions.
Don't miss Jesse Kelly Breaks History, The Forgotten Genocide, the first episode of a new series available now exclusively for First TV supporters. Visit the First TV app or thefirsttv.com to subscribe and start watching today.